Hello, everyone. This is Rick, and welcome to Astral Club. You know, what really bothers me a lot, you ever turn into a news show and they say, oh, we have this major weather event coming and you're really going to want to know about this. And it starts at 11. And so you tune in at 11 and then you have to watch the whole news program. The last story is that major news event. I really, that drives me nuts. So yeah, we're doing that. Okay, there's two things that we're going to be talking about in this particular episode. I had planned to talk about, and we are going to, the three emotions affecting astral projections and how you need to deal with them so that you don't prematurely end your astral projections. But we're also going to talk about another meeting that I had with my angel friend and some interesting information that he passed on. So so the main subject is the three emotions, and then we'll talk about and this all started on Thursday night when Astral Club member RR said, Rick, can you ask around in the astral about the current situation that's worrying everyone? And you know what I'm talking about. Is it man-made? How do people upstairs react? Are the astral beings the ones that sent these trials and tribulations to Earth? Or do they cure them? Do they care? Well, I've got some answers to these questions and more, so stay tuned. Okay, there are three emotions that we humans experience to varying degrees that can dramatically affect the quality, quantity, and length of your astral projection. They are fear, joy, and sadness, depression. Obvious to everyone, fear is the 800-pound, very hungry and annoying gorilla in the room. Now, fear in and of itself, of course, isn't bad. It warns us away from doing stupid or overly risky activities that might damage our physical body. The memory of the pain and the resulting fear is what keeps kids from touching that hot stove range a second time. When wishing to initiate an astral projection or to keep one going, though, fear is the number one enemy. Now, I have heard hundreds, if not thousands, of stories of people who freaked out during the opening stages of leaving their body. Some felt they were falling, others rising or rolling out. Some feared that they had passed away upon seeing their physical body abandoned in bed. The sheer terror generated by this unexpected and unprepared for experience caused their astral cord to immediately retract their astral body, thus terminating what could have been a life-transformative event. Others react with fright when confronted with lower astral life forms. I've struggled with this astral enemy, fear, many times myself. When I first started aiming for the moon as a child, I would take off like a rocket, hurtling towards our crater-faced nightly companion. The terror generated by this sudden acceleration ended many astral projections much too prematurely. And, of course, no one likes premature retraction. What's the cure for uncontrolled fear on the astral? Knowledge and experience. Fear basically is what? It's ignorance. You don't understand what's happening, so your imagination takes flight. It imagines the worst, and all of a sudden, fear just kicks in like that little animal hiding in your stomach, takes over your whole psyche, and ruins experiences for you. So, knowledge, by reading astral projection books and listening to videos like this one by people who know what they're talking about, and you can learn about the fears of dying, extreme speed, and lower astral creatures and how they cannot really damage your astral body. Experience applying your astral knowledge should lessen any fear you experience while projecting to manageable levels. The second emotional landmine may be a surprising one. It's joy. In our physical lives, the experience of joy is usually a completely positive emotion. No one ever said, "Oh, I didn't know whether I could go on because I had too much joy in my life." Where it becomes a problem, though, in the astral, is that any powerful emotion can be sensed by our automated astral cord withdrawal system as a serious disturbance to our emotional equilibrium. When that occurs, our hair trigger astral safety belt kicks in and pulls the astral self back to the safety of its physical environs, abruptly ending the projection. I recall the first time I discovered I could fly. I was deliriously happy as I soared through the moonlit sky, and then my astral cord pulled me back when it sensed this sudden upsurge in intense emotion. I've heard from club members and newbies complaining about their projection ending too soon when they experience joy at finally achieving their goal of leaving their body. What's the best action for dealing with this particular emotion? Contain yourself. It's okay to be pleased, but remain calm and relaxed. Too much of a good thing will only land you back in your physical, snoring, resting form in your bed. Lastly, sadness/depression. In the physical, if you're constantly angry, negative, happy, you will often find yourself attracting similar folks to you. On the astral plane, the same law is in force. Only the speed at which the attraction occurs is vastly accelerated. Worse, you might even find yourself stuck in a depressing surrounding that matches your emotional landscape. I projected once when I was depressed. I ended up mired in a swampy place in New Jersey that had been the scene several years before of a relatively minor vehicle accident I was involved in. It wasn't a big deal. A trash truck doing its pickups decided that it suddenly needed to occupy both of the lanes that I was approaching, forcing me off the road into the swamp to avoid a head-on collision. Unlike the odd astral projection that really I had virtually forgotten about, but in my current negative state of mind, my current sadness and depression, I found myself physically feeling heavy, weighed down, and deeply sad as I contemplated this past incident. It was awful. How do you handle this emotion? I'm going to keep this one real simple. Do not astral project when you are sad or depressed. There's really no better way to handle it than that. That is the first part of the program. Now, let's get back to my recent conversation with my astral angel pal. For a change, he was actually quite talkative. Well, at least for him. I decided to see if I could get some answers for our buddy RR. And I imagined a lot of other folks listening to this might be interested as well, because we all know there's an incident going on right now that is uppermost in the mind of everybody. As a matter of fact, it's probably one of the few times when you can say that everybody on earth is thinking about the same thing. So let's call this, for the lack of any more sensible title, The Rise of the Angel. As you recall real quickly, since we, remember what RR was talking about, is he wanted to know all about how this current situation had happened and whether the angels were involved in starting it or whether they're responsible for curing it or whether they're involved at all. So that's what he asked, and that's what I had made up my mind to discuss. So at around 11:30 p.m. Thursday night, I slipped out of my body and thought of my astral angel guy. In a whirl of light, I found myself standing in a great hall of white marble with Roman columns. Standing a few yards or meters from me, decked out in a white robe, was my best heavenly home invading chum. I think of him as like a home invader. I'm sure he likes that. A wide variety of other beings were talking or rushing about, being busy. They looked like they were from all different races and who knows what. Anyway, I approached my acquaintance and I said, "Hey, how's the angel biz? Is it still flying high?" I joked lamely. "I'm a dad. I'm sorry. It's just kind of what we do." "Richard, please state the purpose of your visit." "I am quite busy," he replied dryly. "That's what I like about you. You're down to business. No wasted time on useless chit-chat," I answered. I gave the buzzing and frankly awesome hall a quick once-over. Look, can we go somewhere a little less showy?" I asked. An instant later, we were in a typically moderately comfortable business conference room. "Better, thanks," I said. My angel pal sat at the head of the antique mahogany table with gold inlay, which I thought was a really nice touch. You know, sometimes it's the little things that really make a room light up. Anyway, he was dressed in a conservative, well-tailored business suit, looking at me expectantly. I began with, "I wanted to come here to..." He cut me off. "You've come here to ask me the nature and origin of the situation transpiring on your planet, whether we are responsible for creating or resolving it, and whether you and yours, not to mention your civilization, will survive, correct?" "Succinctly put, that'd be a yes all around," I answered. "Very well," he observed. "The organism existed in a wild mammal that came into close contact with humans and evolved. The organism, that is, not the mammal. We were not responsible for this evolution, nor are we at liberty to interfere with the free will of suffering humanity. I cannot comment on your family unit without their express permission, and even then I shouldn't. Your corporeal body, though, is in danger due to your age, health, and your frantic business travel schedule. Your civilization will be severely impacted by this newly evolved organism, but it will not be destroyed by it," the angel finished. "Wow, that's a lot to take in all at once," I said, taken aback. "But please, can you tell me anything about my daughter Rose? She is a medical provider on the front lines down there. Do angels take deep breaths? Because this one did." "Rose is a vibrant and powerful soul energy matrix. It would take something unusual indeed to snuff out such a brightly burning flame." I relaxed for the first time. "Are we done here?" the angel said, rising. "Wait," I shouted. "You said I was in danger from this evolved organism. Can't you help me out? I mean, I always say how high whenever you say jump." "I knew you were going to bring that up," he said, sitting once again. "Firstly, we've already interfered once by placing that ruminant animal in your vehicle's path." "Ruminant animal? Oh, you mean that deer that destroyed my Honda Accord? Why did you do that? I loved that car. You owe me some serious bucks for that stunt. I fumed. Your vehicle had an undetected flaw in your suspension system from a previous incident. It was destined to eventually fail catastrophically, likely leading you to disincarnate. We could not allow that to happen, as you are still of some moderate use to us. I mulled that one over for a moment. You know, I think that's the nicest thing you ever said to me, I observed a little ironically. Oh, and thanks for the whole not passing on due to a car accident thing. The business angel nodded. Not to sound ungrateful, but what about the current problem making the rounds on Earth? I mean, why save me from becoming one of those road memorials only to lose my moderately valuable services now? I argued. The angel's eyes narrowed. There is a limit to how much we can intervene in human affairs. However, to end this tiresome conversation, I will promise you this. There will be a sign in the sky on your way to work if your current life path is not changed. You will recognize it for what it is. You must then choose your life decisions wisely over the next 24-hour period if you wish to extend your physical existence on Earth. End of discussion. I next found myself floating in my room and reintegrated with my physical self on the bed. I smiled to myself as I sat up. I think I'm growing on him. Well, that's the episode for this week. I think there's some interesting tidbits in there. I wish I could have gotten more information, but I'm surprised I got as much as I did. So there's certainly cause for concern about our current situation here on Earth, but at least I'm happy to say that it's not the end. So let's all look forward to next week's episode. If you liked this episode, hit that like button. If you want to share it with some buddies, please do that. If you haven't subscribed already, what you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you have subscribed, why don't you hit the bell? If you want to just look at the description section, I'll have some information there as well. Okay, well, once again, thank you for your attention. And as always, I will see you on the astral plane.